Hello, welcome to Todd Miller TV, joined here today with Oana, and we are going to talk today about why real estate is actually not easy to do. Oana, so I checked Facebook really quick before I came in this morning, and no kidding, there were and I have like 400 of my 1,100 Facebook friends are real estate agents, right? They're from all over, but 3 or 4 of them had put posts basically stating, there's so few houses on the market, I'm having to make offers on all these houses, I can't get anything accepted, I'm frustrating. And I looked at us with and us and our team have about 180 houses under contract. And I'm thinking, it's really not that hard. They're not doing it the right way. So that's the first conversation I wanted to have. I want to first talk about the agent side of it, because there's a consumer side of it. There's the buyer side of it. Let's talk about the agent side of it first. What do you think about it? Do you think real estate is really that tremendously difficult and it's just impossible to get a house?
I think real estate is like any other profession. You have people that are at the top of their game, and you have everybody else.
Okay.
So people who are good at what they do have a couple hundred properties under contract like our team does. People who have maybe 2 or 3 properties that they sell a year, those are the people that are having such a hard time out there, because they don't know. They don't do enough business to understand the changes in the market, to understand trends, and to understand how to get a deal put together in this market.
Okay, interesting factoid. There were more homes sold last month than a year ago last month.
Right.
So if sales are up, and there aren't a bunch more real estate agents, how can they be saying it's harder? I mean, it doesn't make sense to me that if we're selling more houses, that should mean more sales for those agents. But what I'm hearing is the opposite. They've sort of got it in their head that it's harder to do the whole process.
It's like anything else. 10% do 90% of the business.
Okay.
So yes, that 10% is actually doing more business because they've got it down. They understand how to get it done.
What do you say to the agent who says, well, in the past, there were so many houses that met our criteria, we just went and looked at them and then picked the one we want and put an offer and it got accepted?
Well, it takes a little more than that. It really does.
So it's real estate is not an easy job.
Real estate is easy if you know what you're doing, like anything else. If you're a novice at it, if you're not proficient at it, then it's very difficult. Okay.
So I want to now talk about the consumer a little bit, because I'm starting to... We have 2 different kinds of buyers that we work with. One, we work with long-term. They're reasonable. They listen to what we say. And then the other type are unreasonable, and we stop working with them rather quickly. People make judgments based on value and other things based on comparison. So when you show them a house that was worth $300,000 6 years ago, that's today worth $100,000, right? That's what it's worth. And that's what they offer on the house. But then an appraisal comes in, it says it's worth the appraisal says $95,000. And then they freak out and want to drop the price, and then they let the deal fall apart basically because of that. What do you say to those people?
An appraiser a few years ago thought it was worth $300,000, and now probably that same appraiser now thinks it's worth $95,000. So an appraisal is always looking back. We are always looking forward, okay? So what that buyer has to do is they have to look forward. They have to pay for that house what that house is worth to them. In our marketplace, there are a lot of opportunities for you to still get financing even when the property doesn't appraise. So that means if you're buying a Fannie Mae property, you can use home pass financing. That bypasses the appraisal, so you don't have to deal with that, and you can get the home that you want. If you're going to be stuck on an appraised value, you're probably going to lose out on properties, because remember, we sell properties for what buyers are willing to pay, not for what an appraisal says the property is worth.
So a lot of people I talk to, almost everybody is across the country is aware that the real estate market in Las Vegas has had a lot of negative press. And people all the time, when I tell them that I'm in real estate in Las Vegas, they say, oh my gosh, it's terrible there. Like real estate's collapsing and all that stuff. So what people expect is now they see a house worth $100,000 and they get it in their head and go, wait, real estate's bad. I need to get a discount. I need to get it for less because the market's going to fall or it's somehow bad. What do you say to a person who's sort of watching the you're remembering something they heard in the news a couple years ago?
The bottom line of the Las Vegas real estate market is that it is a very active market. That means that you have to be in the market in order to understand what's happening, and it moves very quickly.
Okay.
The real estate market is neither good nor bad. It's simply active, and it is our actions that make it good or bad.
Okay.
Okay? No matter who you are in the real estate market, you can make money in any market because it all depends on your actions, not what the market's doing, but what you're doing. We have an active market, which means that it is fraught with opportunities. An active market is a market full of opportunity.
What do you say to the consumer who's, this doesn't happen very often to me. I've heard other agents say this happens to them. They say that the person will come to buy a $70,000 or $80,000 house, and then they'll ask the agent for a piece of the commission. Because what they're saying is, I read a thing online that said agents are desperate because they're not making any money, so you should ask them for some of the commission on the transaction. They'll kick it back to you somehow.
Well, so an agent who can't negotiate their own pay is going to negotiate a good deal for you, really? If they can't negotiate the food on their own table, they're going to negotiate the food on yours?
Okay, probably
That's not somebody I would want to do business with.
Do you think realistically, though, if, commission on a $70,000 or $80,000 house may be $2,000? Maybe.
Agents are not making enough money on these deals to really be able to afford to give the client money back. And really, then an agent is more incentivized to get you to buy a higher price property and to not be as willing to negotiate a lower price for you because he's already kicking money back to you and he's getting paid a portion of that sales price. So it doesn't make sense.
Okay. All right. So the low sale prices, the negative press, the agents who are over dramatizing the fact that they can't get any deals accepted, when actually there were more sales last year than this year, and we actually have more buyer side sales this year than we had the same month last year.
Okay.
All four of those things, like you said, are neither good nor bad. It's just what it is.
Exactly. And actually it's good. It's a good thing because in any market you have people who get good at what they're doing, and that weeds out the people who are not, and they go and find another line of work.
I like that. Okay, good. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. It started from something I read on Facebook, and I was a little bit shocked because we have an agent here who put 3 buyer sides under contract this week, all by himself, one guy. And so I'm thinking, it's if you're not doing that, then you're doing something wrong. So, and if your consumer and your agent isn't doing it, well then maybe that's the problem. So anyway, that is my update for today, and hope to see you on another video. Thanks.